Hello, it's Regina here. Okay, so I hear some of you want to become executive assistants or virtual assistants in some type of virtual capacity, like a digital nomad. Okay, so let me start from the beginning. First, I've been a virtual assistant for the past 2 years. I started as an executive assistant on the senior level, working in the corporate sector so many years ago, about 30 years ago, but I started off as a receptionist and I just worked my way up. I went back and got some credentials, got some training, and I was able to work for some global CEOs. But in order to become a virtual assistant, you don't have to be a top level, quote unquote, top level executive assistant. You can have some basic administrative skills. Yes, if you have basic administrative skills, you can get started with a lot of these VA companies that are out there. So let's just start there. Make a list of all of your basic skills. So let me also start with this. I'm in Chicago right now with my family for the holidays, but I'm typically in Mexico. I'm typically in Costa Rica, but normally my home base is in Mexico. I have my temporary residency. I live there, and it has been such a wonderful experience being able to travel and work, being able to support yourself. I know how it is sometimes when you don't have a whole lot of savings, when you have limited funds, you want to travel abroad, but you want to be able to support yourself, which makes sense. So you have to think about, how will you be able to do that? How can you translate the basic skills that you have right now into the virtual space? So if you have administrative skills, can you organize email boxes? That is one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially solopreneurs, are challenged with. They get tons of emails and they're still trying to work on building their business. They want someone that can come in and help organize their email box, set up files, give their emails directions on where to go once they're received. Like, hey, add a note. There are certain functions where you can take an email that it automatically goes to certain email boxes and it files itself once it hits the client's email box. Can you do that? Can you organize it? Do you know how to use an Apple computer? Are you familiar with the Apple products? Are you used to using Windows? Some use one, some use the others. Are you familiar, or do you know how to utilize and operate within Outlook or Google Suite? Do you know how to set up Zoom calls, virtual calls, whether it's through Google Meet or Zoom or WebEx? Do you know how to use those video functions? Those are going to be very important, especially working in the digital space, because a lot of their meetings will be held online. And even when you do your touch base with your clients, what other skills do you have? Do you know how to use Canva? Maybe some graphic designs, Adobe Suite. There are going to be some clients that are marketing based. There may be some solopreneurs that, hey, I would like for you to create flyers or some promotions for me. Do you know how to manage social media accounts? You may have your personal ones, but can you schedule social media blasts on Facebook, on Twitter, on or X as they call it, on TikTok, on Instagram? Do you know how to integrate them through maybe something called Hootsuite? Hootsuite is an application that allows you to enter information and upload information, and it distributes to all social media accounts at once. Do you know how to create content? Do you know how to write articles? So just make a list of all the features and all of the things that encompasses the work that you've done in the past, all of your skills, and how those can translate. Now, I'm going to do a live video chat so that we can dive deep into all the nuances, because we got to think about how you're going to get set up. What countries do you want to go to? Which ones are the most economical? So if you want to work, do you want to work part-time? Maybe you don't want to work full-time. Will your part-time job support your travel as you are moving about the world? Maybe living in Thailand is cheaper than living in some parts of Mexico or Costa Rica. Panama's getting a little expensive. Maybe you want to go somewhere else, maybe South America. So you have to think about where you want to go, how you want to live, how you want to support yourself, whether it's part-time, full-time, and what industries you want to support. Are you interested in working in customer service? Are you interested in working for healthcare, for big pharma, retailers? Are you interested in working in banking or finance? Are these some of the clients that you're most proficient with? I mean, the world is yours. You can choose which industries you want to support, because as you link with these virtual assistant companies, they're going to have a variety of industries and or entrepreneurs in various industries that you can work with. So you can get to decide who you want to work with and when, how long. And of course, each virtual assistant company is different. Different pay rates, different scheduling options. Sometimes you have to bid for positions. Sometimes they have a job board where you have to apply for the posting. Sometimes the virtual assistant company will have your resume and see all of your skills and try to match you with the appropriate client. So it really depends on the virtual assistant company. What I'm going to do during this workshop is I'm going to show you how to land the job, how to fine-tune your resume so you can be seen, how to answer any questions that the virtual assistant company may have in order to screen out virtual assistants they don't think are good for their platform. Because there are some that will ask you basic questions. There are others that will ask you more intense questions like, how would you do this in this situation? In one of my virtual assistant questions, they asked me to actually gave me a situational test. They gave me a budget of $1,000. They wanted me to book a flight. They wanted me to book a hotel and also book a rental car. And along with that, I had to create an itinerary. So it really depends on the virtual assistant company. Now, companies that do that, they're typically on the higher level. They pay on a higher scale and they want higher level EAs, because they're working with like global CEOs and global senior leaders. However, some of the ones that are mid-tier and may pay a lower range, those are the ones I think maybe you can start with, especially if you are new to becoming a VA or you have really soft or basic administrative skills. We're going to dive deep into the equipment that you need to get set up, the space that you need, what type of software you need. Again, your resume, making sure it's polished, making sure that you stand out above the rest. We're going to talk about maybe the countries that you want to consider going to, housing that you may need, the type of housing that you may need while you're traveling abroad. Ways to look for clients if you're not going through the VA company route, if you want to look for clients on your own. So we're going to talk about all of those things because we're going to dive deep. And I also have an ebook if you want to download it and just get some information. I have an ebook. It is 21 pages long and it is a guide for helping you get started. So you can actually download that from my website if you want to get a head start. Or if you just want to do some research on your own at reginadillard.com. But I really encourage you to follow my YouTube channel because there's a lot of free information there as far as traveling abroad, how to get around. Maybe you don't want to go to a certain country right now. Maybe you want to just date certain countries and you want to use house sitting as a way to get to know different countries to see which ones are more economical, which ones will jive with your budget, which ones really speak to your heart. So you may want to use house sitting as a way to get around. I also have an ebook that talks about how to navigate the world through house sitting. So there's a lot of ways that you can approach this. You don't have to go to a country, land there and stay. You can travel and go to these different countries. You can, what I call, date these countries until you decide where you want to be, where you want to land. But while you're doing that, still support yourself through travel, through virtual assisting, entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. Okay, so my YouTube channel is at Regina Dillard Lifestyle, and my Patreon channel, which gives you behind, or platform which provides like behind the scenes look at my life as a VA, as a traveler, as a travel chef. You will get so much information that I don't always share on YouTube because it's just, I don't have the bandwidth to share it on YouTube. Where you can go in and get downloads, free ebooks, and we'll do live chats there. You can ask questions in the chat room. It's just a way to build community. So you're not just getting little pieces of this, little pieces of that. You are getting the information you need to make decisions, to be able to say, okay, I think I have a handle on this and I can move forward in this new career or start looking at this new country. I can set a date for my travel and I can go. Okay, so I'm here to assist.